I believe in science. Science explains everything. If you can't prove it, why would you believe it? Or maybe you've heard this one. Well, that hasn't been scientifically proven. Sounds smart, right? Sounds modern, logical, like science has all the answers. But behind those phrases is more than just respect for science. But first, let's be clear about what science actually is. Science is a method, it's a way of studying the natural world through observation, testing, and repeatable experiments. And it is incredibly valuable. Science has cured diseases, launched rockets, and given us much of the technology we use every day. But here's where things can get confused. Some people take that success and say science doesn't just help us understand the world, it is the only way we can understand anything at all. They turn science into a belief system called scientism. In scientism, if science can't test it, measure it, or observe it, it doesn't count as real knowledge. And that's very different from science. Science is a tool we use. Scientism is a worldview, the belief that only the physical world is real and only science can explain what truth is. But is that actually true? Because if a worldview is true, it should answer life's biggest questions and match what we actually see in real life. So today, we're putting the two worldviews side by side, scientism versus Christianity, and asking the one key question: which worldview better explains reality? Now, in all my worldview videos, I use 5 of life's biggest questions. Questions about origin, meaning, morality, truth, and destiny. So it is only fair that scientism answers those same 5 questions. Let's take a look. First, origin. Where did we come from? Scientism says we came from natural processes. There's no creator, just random events over billions of years. Everything started with the Big Bang, and life evolved through unguided evolution. There's no deeper purpose, just physics and biology. Number 2, meaning. Why are we here? Scientism says there's no built-in purpose to life. We're here because of random physical processes. No design, no bigger reason. So if life has meaning, it's something you create for yourself. But scientism also says only science gives real knowledge. And since science can't test or measure meaning, it doesn't count as truly real. Meaning is just a feeling in your brain, not a truth about the universe. So in this view, meaning is just an opinion. It might help you enjoy life, but it ends when you do. Third, morality. What is right and wrong? Scientism says morals are not objective. They are human inventions. Right and wrong evolved to help humans survive. There's no ultimate standard, just cultural preferences. What's wrong today? Well, it could be right tomorrow, depending on how society changes. Now, truth. How do we know what is true? Scientism says only science can tell us what's true. If it can't be measured or tested, it's not real knowledge. So, spiritual beliefs, moral convictions, or personal experiences, those are seen as opinions, not facts. 5, destiny. What happens after we die? Scientism says death is final. No soul, no afterlife, no justice, just silence. You lived, you died, you're gone. That's it. But now let's take a step back and see what happens when you try to actually live that way. Let's look at identity and self-worth. Now, scientism says you're a biological machine. Your thoughts, your personality, your dreams, that's just the result of neurons firing. You're a machine programmed by evolution and environment. But who are you really? If there's no soul, no design, no purpose, then identity is just a temporary pattern, like software running on a machine until it shuts off. And your self-worth, well, that's just a useful illusion, something evolution gave you to help you survive. We may feel like we matter, but under scientism, we don't, not in any ultimate sense. Justice and morality. Let's talk about right and wrong. Scientism says morality evolved, not because it's true, but because it helped us survive. Right becomes what's helpful for the group, and wrong becomes what is unhelpful for the group. But without a moral lawgiver, there is no way to say something is truly wrong, only that it violates group preference. But here's the tension. We feel like some things are truly wrong, even if society disagrees. But under scientism, there is no final authority, no moral law, no justice in the end, just preferences and power. Now, love and relationships. In scientism, love is chemistry. It's a product of evolution to help us bond, raise our offspring, and protect the species. That's it. Romance, loyalty, sacrifice, they may feel meaningful. They aren't real, not in any ultimate or objective sense. Love gets reduced to an instinct, a kind of trick of the brain, a useful illusion to help the species survive. But try living that way. Try telling someone, I love you because my brain chemistry says it'll be useful for the species. It doesn't feel like enough, does it? Because deep down, we know that love means more than that. Now, truth itself. Scientism says only science gives us truth. But you know what? That can't be proven by science. You can't test that statement in a lab. You can't run an experiment on it. It is not a scientific fact. It's a belief about science. And that belief collapses on itself. It's making a truth claim that violates its own rule. But more than that, science actually depends on things that it cannot prove. It assumes logic is valid. It assumes math always works. It trusts that our minds can understand the universe. And it can't prove any historical event because history can't be repeated in a lab. Now, I'm not saying that science is broken. It's just not designed to answer every kind of question. See, Oxford professor John Lennox gives a great example in his book, God's Undertaker. He says, suppose you have a cake and you ask various scientists to analyze this cake. Now, the chemist tells you the ingredients. The physicist could explain heat transfer. The biologist tells you how it is digested. But if you asked, was this cake made for a birthday? Or who made it? None of those sciences could answer the questions. You would need to ask the person who made it, because those are different kinds of questions. That's the limit of what science can do. It gives us facts about the how, but not the why. And when a worldview tries to answer every question with science alone, things start to fall apart. Now, we have seen what happens when you try to live out scientism. So let's compare scientism to Christianity side by side, starting with one of the most important questions of all. Who are you and why do you matter? Scientism says you're a biological machine, nothing more. Your thoughts, your emotions, and your dreams are just chemical reactions. No soul, no purpose, just neurons firing. But if that's true, where does human dignity come from? Why do we believe people matter, no matter their ability, age, or stage of life? Christianity says you are made in the image of God, designed with a purpose and loved by your Creator. Your worth isn't an illusion or a byproduct of evolution. It's real because it is rooted in the God who made you. So, which one fits the real world? A worldview that reduces you to atoms, or one that calls you fearfully and wonderfully made? Now, justice and morality. Scientism said morality evolved to help humans survive. Right and wrong are just useful ideas shaped by evolution or group agreement. But what happens when survival comes at the cost of others? If there is no higher law, why even care about justice at all? What makes something truly wrong no matter the culture? Christianity now says there is a moral law because there is a moral law giver. Right and wrong are rooted in the character of a just and holy God. Now, which one matches real life? A worldview or morality shifts with the culture, or one that says some things are truly objectively wrong? Now, love and relationships. Scientism says love is a survival instinct, a chemical trick to promote reproduction. So, what loyalty, sacrifice, loving someone when it costs you? Can chemicals explain why we cry at weddings or mourn at funerals? Now, Christianity says love is more than an emotion. It's who God is. Love is real because it reflects the one who made us in his image. Which view makes more sense? That love is just an illusion, or that love is real because it comes from a loving creator? Now let's go back to truth. Scientism says only science gives us truth. But that belief can't be proven by science. It's not a testable claim. It defeats itself. It builds everything on a claim that it cannot prove. Now, Christianity says truth exists, and it is found in Jesus. Jesus said, I am the way and the truth and the life. Which one holds up? A worldview that collapses under its own claim, or one that invites us to seek truth and find a person at the center of it? So, which one is true? Both worldviews, scientism and Christianity, claim to tell the truth. But truth isn't just a theory, it has to match the world we actually live in. So ask yourself, which one makes better sense of who you are? Which one explains love, justice, and right and wrong in the way that actually holds up? Which one falls apart under its own rules? And which one gives you something solid to stand on? Scientism says you're just time, chance, and chemicals. Christianity says you're created by a God, deeply loved and made for a purpose. Only one can be true. And your answer doesn't just shape how you think, it shapes how you live. And that's what this channel is all about. Here before the gates, we tackle one big question at a time. Questions about God, the Bible, truth, and the Christian faith. If you want to go deeper in what you believe and why, hit that subscribe button. Drop me a comment with your question. I love questions. I love collecting them to make new videos. And then like this video if it helped you think more clearly. And if you know someone who is wrestling with different kinds of questions, share this video with them. It might be the conversation that they have been waiting for, because the truth can stand up to your toughest questions, and the truth is worth finding before the gates